are back. If I look stressed out, it's because I am stressed out. So the Fed came out with their new announcement on what's going to happen with interest rates. And even though they didn't talk about tapering their asset purchases on mortgage-backed securities, which is what's been keeping rates down, they definitely talked about inflation. And it turns out inflation's a much bigger concern than they had initially said a month ago. They thought that inflation wouldn't reach 2% until, I don't know, I think it was like 2023. Turns out they, at the end of the year, we're going to be at 2%, which in short means that interest rates are going to go up. So bonds hate this kind of news. The market increased like 0.5%. That could be a knee-jerk reaction. It normally always is, but I look stressed out because it's been a stressful day, but I didn't want to miss this live today with you guys.
No, absolutely not. And if you guys are just joining, go ahead and tell us where you're tuning in from and where you're at in the home loan process so we can answer all of your questions.
Yes. So, okay, so note to self, guys, if you're in the process, under contract, definitely want to call your loan officer tomorrow to make sure that you are locked in or to check out pricing. Now, for those of you who didn't get locked in yet, I just want you to know, don't panic. So normally what happens is that there is a crazy response whenever the Fed talks about anything. And then typically the next day, people kind of calm down a little bit. So I anticipate, big reaction, then kind of a pullback. But please watch my IG stories, right? So Instagram stories, because I'm going to be talking about what the actual impact tomorrow, right? When we can really tell.
Yep.
Alrighty, so let's see, where do we have people tuning in from?
So we have some locals. We have some in Chicago, Illinois, and Sandwich, Illinois.
Ooh.
What a fun city to live in. I live in Sandwich. What's our favorite sandwich?
I don't know.
It's tuna sandwich.
Oh God, yeah. I love tuna sandwiches from Subway.
Oh, they're our favorite.
Looks like we have some people from Texas and Baltimore. So awesome, guys. It'd also be great if we knew where you're at in the home buying process. Are you guys just starting to get pre-qualified? Are you guys in underwriting? Where are you at? You're making offers. Have you already closed? And if you've already closed, curious, why do you keep tuning into real estate channels? I noticed that's a trend.
Yeah.
Is it because you want to buy investment properties? You just want to know what's going on in the market? You love my great personality? Like, just what is it?
And then there's a few locals here, Chandler, Peoria.
Awesome.
So.
Yay, alrighty. So let's see.
All right, so let's get into it. So our first question is trying to determine the best time to start the process if I want to buy a new home in November or December.
Oh, so as soon as possible. So average sales cycle, meaning from when you start looking to when you close now, is beyond 6 months. Most markets are super competitive, multiple bids. And if you really want to determine your budget and your credit to get optimal financing, you really want to do that pre-approval appointment ASAP. Because let's say you do have all of the criteria to get top tier credit and rates. You can start doing small things now, and some of those things take like 30 days to improve, up to 90 days. So you definitely want to start that process ASAP, especially if you're looking anywhere between 6 months from now.
100%. Okay, Krista from Chicago, pre-approved, 3 offers in, taking a break until early August in hopes that leaving the busy spring season will calm things down.
Okay, so here's the thing. I actually think that you shouldn't just stop. I think that things right now, just nationwide, especially if there's a bump in interest rates, I think that you're going to have some reprieve in terms of competition. So I would continue to look. I would continue to make offers. And just remind yourselves, guys, that everything happens in the perfect time. I truly believe that. So if it isn't today, it's tomorrow. You're learning a lot about it. You'll make the right decision, right? Like those people who, especially in Arizona, like who don't want to go out in triple digit weather, like this is when you're going to have even less competition, and now interest rates are going up. This should be great news for you.
Yeah, and your agent also puts you on a search, like a home search, and so it doesn't hurt to keep looking at that. It always refreshes. So if you do see something that pops up that you really like, you're still active in the game and ready to submit an offer. So, all right, from Clifton, New Jersey, helping my son purchase a first-time home, but it's very difficult.
So yeah, super difficult, especially for first-time home buyers because they typically don't have as much money down, closing costs, and then money to pay overage. But like I said, hang in there, and then also look into products that require 3% down. There is a product called Home Ready, which you can look into, that has discounted mortgage insurance and interest rates and goes all the way down to 3% down to maybe give you some flexibility there. So if you haven't looked into that one, look into it.
Absolutely. And after 5 offers, I finally got my offer accepted, waiting for the home inspection. When do I lock in my rate?
So you can lock in your interest rate, guys, the moment that you're under contract and it's a business day and in business hours. So I would already have been talking to your loan officer. I don't know how many days you've already been under contract, but in Arizona, our inspection period is 10 days. So you definitely do not want to wait till after your inspection period. You want to try to lock in right away because things like what happened today happened. And if I had been your loan officer, I would have told you to lock in.
Yeah.
So
100%. And the 1KCH asked if we do VA loans.
I love VA loans.
They're her favorite. Tell us why you like VA loans.
Well, one, I love the people that we're helping. You know, anybody who's served our country, it's always really great to do something awesome for them. But two, they're some of the best and most flexible type of loans to qualify for. They allow for more flexibility in down payments and interest rate, and they don't have mortgage insurance. They allow for people to qualify off of a net residual income versus just a flat debt to income ratio, which makes home buyers more successful. So I just love the loans. What can I say? I'm a
really
nerd like
do.
that.
All right. And if you have limited funds, would you prefer the buyers to increase their down payment from 3.5% to 5%, or just keep their minimum down payment as low as possible?
If they have limited funds?
Yeah.
I think if you have limited funds, you really have to be aggressive and strategic about how you use them. So increasing your down payment would probably make it more limited for you in terms of purchase price and what you're able to pay over, maybe a bid over asking or an appraisal gap. So I would ask for your options on a lowest 3% down program for conventional, compare it to the FHA one, and then, your 5% and see what looks best, for the offer. But typically I'm going to say in this market, if you have limited funds, lower down payment and maximize other things.
Yeah. And I actually want to go to this question. Samantha asked, just to bounce off that one, I'm confused about what closing costs are and why I am, as a buyer, has to pay for them.
Well, I think it got confusing because it used to be a buyer's market for so long after the Great Recession. You couldn't get someone to buy a house with a 10-foot pole. So I think that because it became the norm, now clients or buyers don't feel like they should pay for closing costs. But there is a cost to reviewing, underwriting, and insuring your home loan. There's also title fees, the fees for taxes and insurance on your property. And all of those things happen when you purchase a home. And because it is your house and your loan, that is why you are required to pay for it. So,
100%.
And so I hope that explains that.
Ooh, Darren, thank you so much for the $20.
Woo, thank you, Darren.
Just to let you guys know, every time that you send us money, we actually donate it to a charity. So know that it's going to a great place. But what Darren said is, I closed last week. Title company said they never received earnest. Luckily, I had pictures of the check and tracking number. Then they admitted they lost it and had to sign a few docs to get my bank to issue a replacement check. Wow.
First of all, that is insane. And I will tell you that I have done hundreds of home loans. I've never heard a situation like that. The fact that they dealt with it at your closing is nuts. So just so you know, if earnest money is not received, it is an item that can be cured on a purchase contract. It's required in most contracts, and it's nuts that happened to you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I hope they gave you a really good gift basket.
Yes.
For all of your inconvenience.
100%.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, Steven. Okay, Jordan asks, is there a reliable source that references current interest rates once he gets quoted an interest rate from the mortgage company?
So the best way to look, guys, is off the Freddie Mac interest rate survey. The only obstacle with that is that it's typically 1 week delayed. But it's the best way to kind of get a general sense of where interest rates are. Oftentimes when you go to a lending tree or you go to a bankrate.com, just know that those websites sell your information to people who are going to call you nonstop. Typically, they're internet banks with very long turn times and people that have minimal experience in mortgage. And oftentimes, their introductory rate or their market rate is just a marketing ploy to get you to click. So, I mean, I think Freddie Mac interest rate survey is a great place to get a good idea. But then also, like, easy things are you can go on all the big banks and then just look up where their current rates are. The thing to note is you can't just look at the rate. You need to look at the APR, which is the rate plus costs, and if it shows that if there are any fees, like any points. So that's what you're going to want to take a look at.
Well said. All right, your boy AW from AZ, woo woo. He wants to know if his student loans are in forbearance, will that affect him with his qualification?
So it doesn't like harm your credit. You can have loans that are in forbearance, but depending on the loan type that you qualify for, your lender's going to have to use at least 1% to 0.5% to qualify your debt to income ratio. So that may or may not harm you in terms of your buying power. Now, if you're able to qualify for a conventional loan and you can get on an income-based repayment plan, that might bring back some of that flexibility. So just you want to check that when you're applying for a home loan, and definitely make sure that your loan officer is giving you multiple scenarios. If they do not give you strategies for your student loans, you may have to ask for it, but also that's a pretty good sign that you should shop.
Yeah. All right, Darren said that they gave him $40 to go have dinner on them.
I mean, I'm glad that they did something because that's super annoying, but I hate when people are like, oh, I never received this. Like, that's such a crappy way to handle something.
And a 6-hour closing or signing. He said it was a 6 hours signing fiasco. I know, Darren. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I just feel for you now.
I know, and you just gave half to our charity. Yes, so guys, just so you know, that's crazy. So we donate everything to Girls Hope, Boys Hope here, which is just a really great organization that helps at youth risk. They get to live in this really great house, and they go to private schools, and they encourage them to get like further education, which is typically Ivy League. These kids do really impressive things. So I just want you to know it's going to a great place.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said, Raymond said he purchased in Gilbert, Arizona. Similar home sold last week for $170,000 more than what they paid. Sell and buy our dream home or wait another year to avoid capital gains tax. Well, it's
a good question.
That is a really good question. And so here's what you got to do. Honestly, so I'm the kind of person that has to do like a side-by-side chart comparison. So it's like, what is that house going to cost you today versus what could it cost you a year from now if you were anticipating 20% double-digit appreciation? And then what would it be if like interest rates were 0.5% higher than they are today, right? Those are the factors that you're going to want to compare. And would that be more expensive than the capital gains that you would pay today? So real estate is typically a long-term investment. And so, you may pay, a penalty in taxes today, but over the long haul with 20% appreciation every year, I mean, it might make sense.
Yeah.
But you'll definitely want to do side by side. And if it's your dream home, hopefully you're living there for like 20 years.
Yeah. All right. LB Alexander. Hi, ladies. Hello. The broker fee in my closing cost is 1% of the purchase price. Is that amount normal?
So I don't know what you mean by broker fee, but I imagine that you're talking about a discount point or an origination point. I will say that 1% loan cost isn't outrageous. If you're buying down a discount point, I would ask why. Is it a manufactured home? Is it a condo? Do you have, a credit score that's maybe on the lower end, right? I mean, those are all reasons to have a discount point, and you would typically pay that to bring down the cost of your rate. But I mean, I think I need more information to tell you if that's normal or not. I mean, rates are historically low right now, so I haven't been recommending buying rates down to anyone. So I need a lot more information on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Michelle asks, my friend just told me she went into forbearance to pay off all of her credit card debt. I am so confused. Why isn't everyone going into forbearance if there's no penalty?
So, I mean, this is the logic by a lot of people, and this should tell you why you can't be super concerned with forbearance numbers. So, the reason that they allowed anyone to go into forbearance is for these reasons, right? Is to better your financial position in case the economy completely. The reason why we all shouldn't just rush into forbearance is because it's going to collapse the banking system. When they initially introduced forbearances, it almost did. And so we never want one industry to collapse. And if everyone rushed to do it, how much you want to bet that they would rush to change it really quickly? So, I mean, if you are in a financial position where it makes sense right now, if you have any kind of stress and you can still take advantage of it, I mean, why not? I mean, so many people have, and a lot of people now have used up their time periods and have to start repaying their mortgage. But that's why, I mean, we don't want to collapse the banking industry. Yes, if you need it, you should do it.
A lot of people don't know that. So why would it collapse the banking industry?
Well, because we make all of the money, guys. It's long-term pay over the course of time. And if you're not making your mortgage payment, we can't actually sell to insure your loan. We recoup some, and then you're not paying it, so we're not getting any of the money back.
Yep.
And so there's zero cash flow. It's like if you owned a rental property, you pay all of the upfront costs to buy the rental property, and then your tenant doesn't pay rent. You still have to pay for the property, right?
Yep.
And
The monthly payment, everything else.
so it's just very costly, and then there's no revenue to offset.
Absolutely.
All right, so then we got a $10 super chat.
Ooh.
Thank you. Says, how does a person's debt to income ratio calculated when they using Amex charge cards to pay for many items monthly, but the balance is paid off monthly? Should this, okay. So what you're talking about is a charge account. So typically if you have enough assets in your bank account to pay off a charge account, we will omit it completely from your debt to income ratio. Some lenders, if you do not have enough balance to pay it off monthly or a history of paying it off in its entirety, they will hit you with 5% of whatever the balance is at that time. So if you have a history of paying it off in its entirety, I would argue that with your loan officer and have them take it up with underwriting.
Okay, and so with that, do they compare it from what like your minimum balance due every single month if you pay it off completely?
So they don't. So a charge card, let's say your your typical limit is whatever the last balance was. So
Okay.
the whole balance is due every single
Yeah.
month. There are certain credit cards that have like it's owed, but then like you could pay a minimum. And,
Got it.
And so like it's hard. You owe $5,000 on it, but you have $2,000 in your bank account. How are we as the lender going to assume that that's going to just be paid off in full, right? And so then that's why they'd hit you with 5%. That's a great clarification.
Okay, Carlos. Hello, Carlos. My son is active Marine. Can he buy a house here in Texas? Right now, he is stationed overseas.
So yes, he can buy a house in a different state. He just can't use his VA funding or his VA eligibility to qualify because he won't be living there and being able to occupy. So if you can't occupy a property within 60 days, guys, you can't use any type of financing that's meant for a primary occupant. So, but he can buy an investment property. Typically, well, minimum down's 15%. Typical loans are done with 20%. And if he's buying a home for maybe you to live in, he can do potentially a family opportunity, or if you go on the loan, he can co-sign with you. So, hope that helps.
But if he gets, so like say if he leaves one base and then he's moving to Texas within those 60 days of it closing, would that work as the
That
primary?
would, yeah, if he was transferring.
Okay.
For that too, sometimes they are stationed away, but their family, like their wife and children, can occupy. That sometimes works as well.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And to go back to this last question, he said, I should have phrased my question better. I will have around $5,000 extra to use for my home purchase. Do I increase my down payment to 5% or keep it at the 3.5% and use the $5K for an appraisal waiver?
The $5K for an appraisal waiver, truthfully.
Yep.
Like once your deal is negotiated and you can figure out like where you're at, the appraisals come in. If you then decide to do 5% down at that point in time, have them do a difference. I mean, the big key there is it sounds like you're doing an FHA loan and you might be able to do a 5% conventional loan. If you have better than a 680 credit score, I would definitely have them do a side-by-side because mortgage insurance you can take off in 2-year period, and it might save you so much more money down in the long haul. But if right now you don't have an appraisal, you don't have a contract, keep it where it's at.
And then to go back to LB Alexander's, they said it's the origination fee, conventional, no points.
So 1% seem, it's normally like a flat fee. Like I know ours is $1,495, and I've seen banks anywhere between like $999 to like $1,700 to $2,000. So it's rare that you'll ever see 1% origination. I did see Quicken Home Loans doing this recently, and I would say that that's probably excessive.
Yeah.
You want to see an itemization, like what it costs for underwriting, processing, tax service, that kind of thing.
Yep. Okay. And Angel asks, can I lock in my interest rate before I buy the property? Which I'm assuming. No. Yeah. Okay.
So if you do not have a property, guys, if you're not under contract, if you're not the homeowner, if you're just in shopping status, unfortunately, you cannot lock in your interest rate. Interest rates are attached to loan numbers that are attached to like properties, and we can only lock in once you've done your intent to proceed.
And I feel like we get that question a lot when we like send out the pre-approvals and they ask if they can lock it in that day.
And I think that's honestly just because people don't know the mortgage process, but you have to attach it to something. Also, locks are only good for a certain time period, like 30 days, 45 days, 60 days. And so if you're just shopping, it's kind of hard for us to even anticipate how long to even lock in for.
Especially when you're saying it's taking 6 months to find a home.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right, AW asks, does the appreciation of house prices concern you for younger generations that will be buying in 10 to 15 years?
No. So here's the thing. When I talk about the housing market, I talk about like what's in the 6 months, the next year, right? It's so difficult to predict what's going to happen in 10 to 15 years, but in 10 to 15 years, right, we're going to have some room because, okay, I'm going to try to say this without sounding awful. But so like 1 in 3 homes right now is owned by somebody over the age of 65, and the average life expectancy is right around 79 years of age. So chances are there's going to be quite a few vacancies in 10 to 15 years. So I think that will definitely help home values. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, that always sounds awful, but when people ask me like when I think the next correction is, I'm like, well, it really has to do with the number of homes on the market. And yeah, there's that. Look up something called the silver tsunami.
Yes,
Google it.
It's a real thing. Okay, so this is a personal preference question. Caroline asked, she's thinking about either getting her mortgage license or a real estate license.
Okay.
And she wants to know what the difference is and if there's different personality traits or what it would look like to be a loan officer to a real estate agent.
I mean, okay, so being a loan officer is a very sedentary job, means that I sit down all the time. Being a real estate agent means that you're up and about showing properties. You have to like to see properties. Imagine you like design. You definitely have to be a people person. I like to think I'm a people person, but I love numbers and I love guidelines and I love problem solving. So for me, finance is just where my heart is at. I don't know. I mean, even when I'm looking for my own house, I don't really have a whole lot of patience going out to see properties. So I think it's just like what sparks joy. So I think that's kind of what you have to look at. I mean, generally the bar is fairly low for both industries, so you could probably become a realtor and get your mortgage license. Real estate agents typically earn a 3% commission. Loan officers typically earn around a 1% commission. Loan officers do more transactions. So, I mean, it just kind of depends. I think that pay is pretty comparable.
I agree with that.
I hope that helped, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so I just have to say this. Hydros said, go 100K over, offer your children and puppy, plus waive all contingencies.
What about
Maybe
your
your
kidneys?
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Look, guys, it is so tough to get a home right now.
Yes.
I get it. It's awful, but it is starting to ease up. I definitely have seen it. It's just tough right now. So I'm sorry. Hang in there. Having a great sense of humor is awesome. Never mind. I'll keep my parents.
My daughters can move into the garage or something. Pitch a
So-
tent out back.
Okay, but funny that you mentioned that, right? I actually do think that if you can buy with another generation, let's say your parents or your kids, I think it's a really great way to, one, expand your purchasing power.
Yep.
And so many floor plans these days are split where there's master bedrooms on the other side of each house. Lots of homes in Arizona have casitas. And I think that there's like so much flexibility with what you can find if you are thinking of doing a multi-generational purchase.
Yep. And Darren, I agree with you. Get rid of the children, keep the puppy. Okay.
Wait, I don't want to get rid of my children.
Well, you don't have a puppy like me,
I don't love my puppy.
and I don't have children. So
my
I
God.
guess we could be a little biased. Okay. Back in action. Adam, closing on a new construction in 2 months in North Texas, just asked for a comparison from 3.5 FHA, 5% conventional. Should I ask about buying out mortgage insurance?
Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I mean when I'm talking about quality of loan officer. Poor Adam is having to do all of the work for the home loan, and I'm sure you're going with a new construction lender because of the the credits that they're going to give you back or whatever incentives they have. But this is like where going with somebody who's really strategic is going to show you all the things that you might know. Absolutely shop your options for buying out mortgage insurance, 3%, 5% down. I don't know what your median income is in your area, but also check for Home Ready if you're a first-time home buyer. It's so important that you look at all of your options, including FHA, because this is a new build. Because this is where you're really going to see the difference. And also, it's also a good idea for you to like maybe compare with somebody who isn't the builder's lender and see if they can offer you similar incentives, because you just don't want to miss out on what you don't know as a consumer. So,
Well, and I would say too, the builder's lender works for the builder, and a lender that's outside of that works for the actual client and what's in their best interest too.
yeah, because all of our business is referral based. And if we don't do a good job for you, you're not going to refer us, and your agent's not going to refer us. So,
Yeah, 100%. All right, Stephen, can you please clarify how I can use the second unit on a duplex as income to qualify?
yeah, so essentially what happens is whenever you buy a multifamily unit, they do a historical reference on what the property is rented out for and what other units in the marketplace are renting out for within a certain distance radius. And then we're allowed to use 75% of whatever that potential rent is to help you qualify. Most of the time, it just offsets the payment that you're qualifying for. So it's not going to be considered income, but it is a really great way to, expand your purchase power.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow,
Was the
we've got
one
a lot of
I
questions.
know. This is actually a really good one from Daniel. Can you please explain how lender builders estimate taxes for new construction? I'm worried about their estimates not being accurate.
So their estimates won't be accurate, just so you know, and depending on where you live, it's either going to be whatever your tax percentage is for your municipality or 1%. Okay, so I have worked for lenders that do 1%, and it is way higher than what it would actually be in Arizona. And I've seen lenders misquote clients and just do whatever the land value is, and clients think their payments are going to be so much less until the end. So it's really, really important that you address this with your person financing your home, and then also maybe look up what that tax rate is. It's super easy, guys. All you have to do is contact the assessor's office, and they can give you a percentage that you might be able to send to your lender to qualify you.
Yep. What happens if they overquoted it?
So if they overquote it, what ends up happening is once taxes are assessed, they have to give you back the overage.
Cool.
And they adjust your payment, of course.
Yeah. Matthew, a home I'm looking at is $274,900,000. Wait, hold on. The home I'm looking at is $274,000, is $281,000 plus $300 earnest, offering too much.
No. I think that in the marketplace right now, people are offering median, at least in Arizona, is $15,000. So it means that half of people had to pay more than $15,000 and half of people paid less than $15,000. National average is 2%, but the national purchase price is $375,000. So it sounds like you're in line.
Yeah. All right. And then how do you calculate PMI payoff amount?
PMI is tough, guys. It ranges on like so many different factors. So like credit, debt to income ratio, number of borrowers, type of property. I mean, loan to value. I mean, there's so many different things that go into it. So honestly, you are just going to have to get a quote from your lender and then ask them how many mortgage insurance companies they shopped.
Yep. I feel like that question is always asked too.
That one, I don't think I've ever been asked that.
Oh,
truthfully.
really?
I think I talk about it a lot because I feel
what
like
it
it's
is.
just like a thing I don't think people know, and I want you to ask me more about. But no, I don't think people.
Oh my gosh. All right, Michelle.
You guys, now that I can see how gigantic my bun is in this thing, it's like giving me like I'm self-conscious.
Stop it.
I feel like I look like alien.
Okay, now you just pointed it out to everybody.
I know. I just can't. I just feel like I had to address it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Michelle, I surrendered a property in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy that got discharged 4 years ago. Property foreclosed a couple of months ago. Could I be considered a first-time homebuyer?
So technically, I think you are a first-time homebuyer because it goes from when you actually relinquished the property in the bankruptcy, and bankruptcy is 4 years after discharge is when they will allow you to qualify for a conventional loan, and then it's 3 years after foreclosure for an FHA loan. So I think right now your main loan option is going to be conventional, and I do think that they consider you a first-time homebuyer.
Awesome. That's great news. All right. Hello, Yvonne. Can you please explain what a funding fee is and why do you have to pay for it?
So a funding fee, well, it depends, right? Because there's a couple things. Are you talking about a VA funding fee or are you talking about a funding fee on your loan estimate? Clarify so that way I can answer that question.
Or can you clarify just both?
Oh, no. Oh yeah, I could. Okay. So a funding fee just in general either is associated with the bond program or it's associated with the company's fees for actually closing your loan. So whenever we send wires or you have a closing department involved, some banks like itemize those things. So you'll see like a closing fee and a wire fee and all that stuff. So that's what that means. If you're talking about a VA funding fee, it's based on a percentage of like how many times you've used it, what type of service you've had, how much your down payment is, and it's the VA's version of mortgage insurance. It's their guarantee fee. It goes into a fund just to secure, when people default on their home loans, because banks have insurance against them, and so you have to pay it because you're not putting down a down payment typically.
Yep.
All
right. DA, he has final approval. What's next?
Yeah, so next is they're just going to work up your final closing disclosures, all your final docs. They'll call you for signing. If you're in Arizona, you'll sign either the day before or a couple days before, and then on your closing date, we'll send the wire for your funds, and then they'll record your property and you'll get the keys. If you're in a wet funding state, you will sign the docs. They'll send the docs back. We'll fund your loan, and then you'll get the keys either that day or the next day.
Yeah. Also, congratulations. That's super exciting.
Oh, yeah, congratulations. I'm so technical. You ask me a question, I just go right in. It's like why, again, I can't be a realtor.
Okay. All right. In this market, have you lost clients due to people shopping rates around, or do you find yourself with a lot of buyers who are pre-approved and just trying to get into a house?
So here's a loaded question, guys. Yes, I have lost clients who shop rates. I've lost clients in any market who shop rates. I am not the cheapest loan officer. But I will tell you this, and this is not to sound conceited, it's because I literally take this job so seriously and I'm a very intense person. I don't know anyone more competent to navigate a transaction where there's an appraisal gap, there's buying over ask, short closings. I mean, there are a lot of hurdles that a mortgage company has to perform right now to make sure that you have an aggressive offer. And so I think I'm worth the extra money. So yes, I have people leave me for rates. Most of our clients stay with us because they know I'm going to get the job done, and having me be on their pre-qual in Arizona means a lot. So,
yeah, you don't want to trip over dollars to save pennies.
Sammy has heard me say that quite a few times.
Like all week.
Hey, Mike, I also just saw your comment. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad that my content has brought you value, and I'm so pumped that you are prepared to buy your first house.
Yeah, super awesome. Desiree asks, How do you feel about when a seller wants extra days in the home after closing?
You know, it's not an ideal situation. If I was buying a home, I'd want them to get the hell out. However, it is a negotiation tactic that you will want to use because home sellers need that kind of flexibility right now. I've seen people like give them like a 2-month lease back, right, to stay into their property so that they can find something else and not have a contingent offer. And if that's something that you're willing to do, it could be a really great negotiating factor.
Yeah.
But I mean, like as a human being, no, I don't like it. Your property's insured though, and you can make sure that they get their own insurance as well. And you can also ask them to pay you a per diem rent fee. So I mean, you can make it worth your while too.
Well, in some cases with people relocating, that is the ideal situation, is for the seller to stay there until they finally come and occupy the home.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you want them not to be there?
Well,
when you're
yes.
closed? Yeah.
I mean, but if that was how to get the deal done,
Okay.
you got to get scrappy. Okay, so how far in the process can one adjust their down payment? Say because they now need to cover their closing costs.
So you can adjust and change terms up to 10 days before your close of escrow, right? Like that's like a pretty safe period. It might bother your loan officer, but honestly, it's your home loan for 30 years. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting the right financing for you. So I adjust honestly, as long as the CD isn't out, it really isn't that difficult.
Yeah. Carlos, how far can you lock an interest rate for a new build?
So it depends. Some people have 9-month locks, 6-month locks, but they cost a lot of money. And truthfully, I don't know if like right now is a good time to do a 9-month lock. So I typically tell people that whenever they're in the range of 6 months or not, to call the loan officer and just weekly get updates on when they should lock in.
Yep. Hey, and everyone, I know we did this kind of late in the game, but if you guys just tuned in halfway through, let us know where you're tuning in from and also where you're at in the home process so we can answer all of your questions for this last half.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, Steven, oh my gosh, thank you.
Thanks,
I love all these #1 fans. All right.
You just called him our #1. What if he's not our #1 fan?
Oh, I hope you are. Oh my gosh. Lizzie, I'm worth the extra money. My name on the contract is AZ means a lot.
It does. I don't know what to say, guys. You want someone who cares this much and is this confident, right? Like, you would never want to go into surgery and be like, I don't know if I can do this job. You know?
It's true. You find the best surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, two hoes.
And a console. Okay. Michael, I was at your live last week, and I know you hate this question, but has anything changed in the market that makes you think that we're going to see a market crash? I understand that there are not enough houses for people, but this just seems so out of control and not sustainable.
It is out of control, and it is not sustainable long term, right? But that does not mean, here's the thing. I agree with that statement, and I think most economists agree with that statement. Like, things can't continue to rise, which is why everyone's talking about inflation. They're going to do something to slow it down. It's not healthy for it to continue to grow like this. But just because it doesn't grow rapidly like this doesn't mean that now it's all of a sudden going to crash and snowball and turn into like a disaster. And that's the thing that people expect it, right? Is because the last time they saw an increase, there was a catastrophe shortly after. But there are no two economic crises that repeat themselves exactly. Like, there's going to be something else that happens, guys, that none of us could foresee, that then is the next thing that everyone is worried about. Like, you have to think .com boom, bank and loan bust. I mean, the Great Recession. I mean, all of those things are so different. You guys remember Y2K? I mean, I promise you guys, there's gonna be something. Like, honestly, people are talking about the silver tsunami in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but could it create a market crash? No. Am I seeing things slow down? Yes. Am I relieved to hopefully have things slow down? Yes. But to put this into perspective, we still have about 5,000 homes available. I know that sounds like a lot because you're only looking for one home, but a normal healthy market in Arizona is about 24,000 houses. Like that's what makes a balanced market. And so we have a long way to go. And last time from 2005, right, the last time we saw a comparable market, it took 2 years to burn off the demand. So I just want you guys to know that no, I don't, it doesn't happen that fast. Like we want it to happen that fast. It doesn't happen that fast.
Well, and also a lot of buyers right now, they lived that housing crash. Like, say they were a kid, like I was a kid and I saw my parents, they're freaking out. And so it's like people are having PTSD, but like Lizy said, it's never repeated itself. Exactly. So, what is the average income you are seeing right now in AZ?
Guys, I'm so sorry I haven't done, I haven't paid attention to that, but I do know that the median income here is close to 80,000. It's like 79,000 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was really surprised by it. They hadn't updated the numbers in a really long time, and so it was showing somewhere around like 68,000. Most programs are at 80% of area median income. So, I mean, generally speaking, I know everyone's concerned about affordability. Affordability is better than it has been literally in the last decade, and also incomes have increased significantly too, along with the home appreciation.
Absolutely. Liberty's on your same page. Baby boomers are aging out of the market as well.
I know. Well, the boomers are who I'm talking about, honestly, and it's really sad because they can't afford to leave their homes. That's a lot of where this housing crisis arises from, is that it used to be that it was affordable for them to downsize or move into an assisted living facility or retirement community, and they just can't afford to get out now. Like, if they sell their homes, where are they going to go, and can they afford it because they're on limited income? So it's sad.
And assisted living is so expensive. It's really expensive. I know that from.
Okay, so let's see here. So Mike's moving to Mesa, whoop whoop, and you're closing on the 28th, dude. That's
Congratulations.
So exciting. And then LB Alexander. LB, can I just find out, are you a girl or a boy? It doesn't matter. Every time I see you on here, I'm just curious. I don't know why. I just imagine you're a girl. Okay, so it says, I'm buying and closing in December because sellers are building a new home in Florida. When can I lock in the rate? You think rates will... So here's what I think. I think like today, rates are going to have a knee-jerk reaction like they did in February. And I think that we will start seeing like a reprieve. I think that when you get within 60 days, I think it's a good time to start searching. I think rates are going to be up and down. But I do think that if you end up doing like a 6-month lock, which I'm not 100% sure you can do because it sounds like it's a regular build, you're just going to be paying so much money for that.
Yeah, agree.
Yes.
All right, Linda, we're planning to purchase multifamily income property within the next 12 months. What looks better when applying for a loan? Retirement fixed income of $60K or a W-2 of $120K?
Well, obviously more income makes you look stronger, okay? But I will tell you this, a lot of times people don't know that they can qualify with just 1 month distribution from a retirement account so long as they can get ongoing distributions for up to 36 months. So sometimes somebody will be newly retired, they have a pension for like you said, $5,000 a month, but then they have $1 million in retirement IRAs, 401ks, 403bs. And you can say, hey, can you get an additional distribution from those accounts? And then you can qualify for that, or you can do what's called asset depletion. So you have more flexibility than you think if you have good retirement assets to qualify for a home loan.
Yep. All right. LB is a girl. Her name's Linda.
Okay.
Hello, Linda.
I was imagining that was your name. So some of you who join this live all the time, you're like my pen pals. So I just have like pictures of you in my mind.
Pen pals. Yeah, so if you guys have a username that's not your actual name, please let us know because we will remember it and then we'll know. Like, we can finally address you by your first name.
Yeah, I have a weird picture of Two Hoes in my mind. But Two Hoes doesn't sound like he's much my friend.
Two Hoes, yeah.
Two Hoes with a
What's
console.
your real name? Okay. Liberty, how much of my $171,000 savings should I put in a down payment in order to get the lowest rate possible?
Okay, so lowest rate possible is about down payment sometimes. Okay, so just so you guys know, the pricing hit for 15% down versus 20% down is actually less, right, than right? So because you have mortgage insurance. So one thing that I tell people if they don't have 25% down is you can do 15% down, and then after you close, do a principal reduction to knock off your mortgage insurance. It's like one mortgage hack. But the other thing that you really want to concentrate on is making sure that your credit score is above 740. And if your credit score is above 740, you're going to get the most optimal rates. Other things to consider are shortening your term, like doing 25, 20, 15-year mortgage options. Look into what those are. Those things can have more of an impact on the interest rate as well, because buying points down, guys, like 1 point is maybe 0.25% interest. It's not like point for point. Like if you pay 1%, you knock off 1%. And so oftentimes if you want to pay off the house quicker, you're better off just applying one large principal reduction at the beginning of your loan, and that'll save you so much more money than getting a low interest rate. I know it was like a big answer for that question.
805.
Yeah, you're great. So then literally so here's what I would do. Look into all of your term options, right? And then make sure you obviously have the best credit score. Look at, your 15% option, your 20% down option, and your 25% option. And then also what I would do is have them do an amortization schedule on what it would be instead of buying points down if you just use that money to pay down a principal reduction on your first payment.
Yep. Okay.
Two hoes.
Two hoes. Well, real quick. Okay, let's go to this. She missed the first part, so will you talk?
Rajani, hey girl.
Okay, she just wants to know what the Fed said, where interest rates are at.
Yeah, it's no bueno. So basically, they're worried about inflation. The market reacted terribly. Interest rates, the market lost like 59 basis points, which is like almost 0.5%, depending on the lender. So I'm going to check tomorrow morning, watch my Instagram stories. I'm going to have a better update for you then.
Yep, 100%. All right, two hoes. We know you're not a realtor, but are there areas in AZ that you recommend people not purchase?
No, we cannot answer that.
No.
That's like literally a fair housing thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. You're going to have
all
to
of
do your own
Arizona's great.
research.
I'm keeping things optimistic.
Can I just tell you why we can't answer this question, though? So the government prevents us from having opinions on where people should live because people discriminate for different reasons, okay? So here's what I recommend. Honestly, do your own Google searches. Crime information is available. Zillow searches are available for pictures. Google area searches are available. And then you can just find out what people think typing in different cities. And you will get tons of people's personal opinions.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Even on, Facebook groups.
But, people like me and realtors, we can be sued.
Told you.
Oh, Steven is our number one fan. All right. Woo!
See, I predicted that. I felt it. All right, Liberty, do you think it's possible to get as low as 2% on a 30-year fixed?
No, not even close. I think you can maybe get 2.25%, 2.375 on a 15-year mortgage. I think you might be able to get into the 2%, high 2%. But after today, I think you're probably looking in the low 3s.
Yeah. Can the bank extend mortgage rates?
What?
She asked, can the bank extend mortgage rates?
So are you talking about on your lock? Yes, we can extend the time on your lock. It typically costs money. Sometimes the bank is willing to do it for free if it's a short period of time, less than 7 days. If it's a long period, like 30 days, it's going to cost you.
Okay, two hoes, who are you? He said he's already pre-approved with us. Now I'm going to start doing research after this live.
I know, but okay, two hoes. Let's see, Lizard Gang.
Lizard Gang. Woo-woo. So it has to be Javier, really.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right. Daniel, hi Lizzie and Sammy. Does DACA have any impact on a home loan? And are home loans possible without a Social Security?
Okay, so DACA shouldn't have any impact on your home loan approval anymore. They used to be that you could only get a Fannie Mae loan, and that made it more difficult for people with DACA status to qualify. But now you can get FHA, conventional. You should be good. Most down payment assistants are now offering and extending loans to DACA residents as well. So you should be all good. As far as not having a social security number, yes, there's hard money financing that will allow people to purchase in that way, but nothing with conventional financing.
Yeah. Oh my God, don't stop.
What do you mean, don't stop?
That's his name.
Oh. All right.
Okay. Can I take money out, or can he do a cash out refinance to repair some work like replacing flooring?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's what I will tell you, though. If you've already started taking up your flooring and your appraisal hasn't been done, that might stop your home loan process. So, like, a lot of times what happens, or at least that we've seen, is that people want to take out cash out because they've started a home remodel, didn't anticipate the cost, and then they have, like, no bathroom, or there's a big gigantic hole, or they're missing all their flooring. It can be tough. So if you did take up the flooring already, I'm going to tell you that go ahead and just paint it so you seal it. And so that way you can close on your home loan.
Oh my God, what happened to our roof?
No, I mean, it's like true. It's like people are like, yeah, I want to redo the bathroom. And then you get their appraisal and you're like, wait, did you already start? And I know, guys, I'm so sorry to be laughing because I know you guys don't understand the process and nobody lives their life to qualify for a home loan.
No.
But you can literally not imagine the phone calls that I have, like, on a daily basis. It's like, hey, it's like, that video I have that's just kind of funny. Like, that's, like, literally my day. Like, I'm just like, oh, you bought a car?
Yeah.
Okay, when did you decide to do that? Did you read that you shouldn't buy a car? Oh, you did? Okay, no worries. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more like they call in, they're like, are you sure I can't buy a car? And you're like, yes. And then the next day you're like, oh, you bought the car?
Yeah, hey, I just saw an inquiry at Kia. So I don't know. I mean, so I just try to have a good sense of humor about it because what's the other reaction?
That's what it is.
Okay.
All right, two hoes. What happens when your pre-approval letter date expires and you're not under contract yet on a house?
So long as we can verify that the employment is still the same, the credit is still the same, we might do a soft credit pull, which is not a hard inquiry, just a soft inquiry to make sure that everything is the same, and that your income is still consistent. We'll just reissue it.
Not a problem.
Give us a call tomorrow. For like 120 days. I'm going to be looking you up. I'm going to be like,
I know. We're literally going to do this. You have no idea.
Is two hoes your email address too? This is like
my
favorite
is that your email
possible.
address? Ooh, that's good. Okay. All right. Oh my God, don't stop.
Wait, don't do that again because seriously, it really did get me.
It freaked her out. I actually meant that the property I'm going to buy needs some work. So I wonder if I can get a higher amount loan so I have some money to do the repairs.
Okay, so in that case, you're going to be doing a construction loan, which is either a 203K or a home styles renovation loan. So yes, you absolutely can. Now, one thing I will tell you, it might be difficult because those loan programs take 60 to 90 days, and right now, cost to find. So it might even take longer. So you might want to consider purchasing as is and then doing the construction or renovation loan later on.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Last question. If someone was to take out a mortgage and then qualify for a higher amount, qualify for a higher amount with a cosigner, what paperwork would the secondary person need?
So it's going to typically be all the same paperwork that you provided. So what we're going to be wanting to do is establish their income, establish their assets, their credit. They're really just like another borrower, the same as you. So whatever list you got, they're going to get as well.
Yep.
Unless they have like different types of employment, like if they're self-employed, we may ask for additional things like a profit and loss, 3 months business bank statements, or if they're retired, we're going to ask for retirement. So it's all income and asset stuff.
Oh, I love this. Adam, good day, ladies. My husband and I have been looking since January, and we finally got under contract with a new build in Maricopa, closing in August. Woo! Congratulations.
Yes.
Love it. All right, well, we're at 6 o'clock.
Okay, guys. I absolutely love this live, guys. It makes my entire week. It's so
really
much
does.
fun to get on here. I was really stressed when I started, and now I'm going to end the night in such a great place. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to another live.
Yep, and we will see you next week.
Yes.
All right, bye, guys.